Hi there, Scorpio. Thank you for joining me for your monthly forecast for June. A legacy from past efforts and skills can come into play really powerfully as this month begins. And you could be celebrating that a payout is higher than you thought, or that you do actually have more experience and talent than perhaps you're giving yourself credit for. And great feedback and warmth can come to you from one particular person. In fact, things could be rather loved up in quite a sweet way as Venus angles brilliantly with Neptune. Now Venus is then going to go on to forge a fantastic link with your co-ruler of Pluto in week 2. And a conversation can really see you absolutely wrapped with one person's input in your situation. But by the 7th, the start of week 2, while Mercury starts to go backwards, and it starts to retreat in the part of your horoscope that is to do with expansion, travel, documentation, legal agreements. So do go cautiously around these through to the middle of the month, when Mercury then twists backward furthermore and goes into your sector of shared finances. And that's where you need to be on the ball for the latter part of this month. However, as the Sun forges that great angle to your other co-ruler of Mars in the first few days, do be proactive, because there may be something that you can make use of that you've perhaps been slightly neglecting. It could be to do with your skill set. It may be to do with a piece of detail and some documentation which can give you a huge boost. Now in the first 10 days of this month, your two rulers are going to be going into something of a clash. So if you do find yourself having a deep and potent conversation with someone about the more psychological elements of life, yourself, or even your memories, then you need to make sure that you're dialed in really truly to what is important, and you're not just reacting to some conditioning that's been put into you from the past that maybe is far too active within you now, perhaps more than you're perhaps appreciating. Someone could also challenge you with a perception of yourself that you don't see at all across those days. Now from the 10th, Mars is going to be going in opposition with Uranus, and this is really quite tricky when it comes to work and health. If you're pushing yourself very, very hard in terms of achieving your goals and working lots of extra hours, go careful, because you could really burn yourself out. And if you're rushing around generally in life, you could have a little bit of an accident and do yourself a mischief. Now this could be just something like knocking your knee on a table or something like that, but at its very most extreme it could be something worse. So try to slow things down, be a bit more strategic, and when it comes to your obligations to do with your work, just be prepared that someone may surprise you with a set of expectations that you don't at first feel ready to fulfill. And this could make you feel very, very angry. But you're going to need to try to stay ice cool to deal with this and unpick it well. The opportunity to do so comes on the back of the full moon, which occurs on the 13th. This is emphasizing the things that you share with other people. If you can get this right, then you can come to a better understanding. If you can't, you can find yourself at either end of the settee. It's probably not the best of times to try to raise finance at the heart of this month, unfortunately. But when the Sun moves on the 21st, I think that can be really good for you, because it's going to give you the ability to wheedle out the facts in situations, to be much more discriminating, but also to be bolder in your approach. And if there is something that's holding you back and cramping your style, perhaps psychologically breaking out of it and moving on and refreshing your life. There can be a tendency for Scorpios to stick with things, and then suddenly everything melts down in a huge way. Huge changes happen, momentous changes. And then you settle down, get very stable again, but sometimes things are being offset. You're not looking at them. As the Sun moves, it's asking you to really grapple with the reality on the 21st. On the 23rd, Venus moves. And that can trigger an improvement in your financial situation. So if you have been waiting for some information, despite the fact that Mercury is twisting backwards, something good can happen for you. But just be wary about your love life, because someone may enter your world who seems to be mightily evocative, and that person may become known to you at the end of week 2 or perhaps at the start of week 3. And when they do, they may have something about them that you find very irresistible. But whether they would be good for you or not is another matter, Scorpio. It's been a real pleasure being with you. Thank you for joining me. Good luck and goodbye for now.